right, Mr. D, let's talk about protecting those fruit trees for the winter.
Preparing for hibernation.
Oh, for hibernation.
There's probably a longer list of things to avoid doing than to do. Number one, don't prune. We don't want to prune going, in the fall of the year. That's not a good thing to do. You don't want to fertilize.
Yeah. Okay.
And you keep in mind the tree roots go out quite a bit further than the height of the trees. So you want to avoid, if it's in your lawn situation, if you put a fall fertilizer out for your lawn, which if you have a winter annual or something like that, you don't want to do that within 20 or 30 feet of a fruit tree.
That's a good point.
So you don't want to do that.
Right.
No need to be doing any spraying, as going into the winter. However, you do need to be getting ready for any dormant applications according to your, look at your home orchard spray guide for wherever you live, and there will probably be some dormant applications that you need to apply, in mid to late winter.
Okay.
And so you need to be ready for that. Let's see. So that's pretty much the fall fertilization, especially nitrogen. You don't want to flush a new growth because that can create some problems. You can apply lime. It is a good time to apply lime. So I guess the first thing I would suggest that you do is get a soil test.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
It is good, and you need to do that. You don't have to do that every year, but at least once every 3 or 4 years, you need to check your soil. And if your pH is low, most fruit trees need a high, 6.5, pH, so relatively high pH. So if your soil is too acidic, then you need to get that right. Blueberries would be an exception. They like an acid soil, and they need it very acid. But we're talking about tree fruits here.
Yeah.
Get your sprayer cleaned out and ready to go. Clean up your pruning shears and your lopping shears, and oil them and sharpen them, and get those things ready to go for late winter, early spring. That's when you're going to need those.
Yeah.
Sanitation is important. Clean up under the trees. I would rake the leaves out, any dead leaves, any mummified fruit. If there's any dead, fruit on the ground, and if there's any fruit, mummified fruit left on the trees, get those off and get them out of the landscape. I wouldn't put those in a compost pile if you use the mulch anywhere in the vicinity around those fruit trees. Okay. And to be on the safe side, I'd probably just, get it in the garbage or burn it. Put those in the fire pit.
Would you mulch your fruit trees? How do you
I
feel
would
about
not.
that?
I would not. I absolutely would not. And there is a difference of opinion about that. I like bare ground under my fruit trees. Okay. If a hard freeze is coming, I would water, make sure that bare ground is wet going into the freeze, and that bare ground will give off ground heat, and that will help protect the fruit tree. Small fruit and things like that, mulch is valuable. Where I've seen mulch is discussed for tree fruits, they said it's okay, it's good in the summertime, and it's okay in the summertime for weed control and things like that. Okay. However, August 1 to September, pull that mulch away from the tree. It harbors mice, rodents, voles, and it can attract those, which can really be a severe problem. Right. So I personally do not like mulch around my fruit trees. You never see fruit trees in a commercial setting mulched. It's bare ground.
Bare ground.
That's what you want, in my opinion.
Interesting. Okay.
But that is pretty much it. The mummies and the leaves, and that's very important. Cleaning up. I wouldn't want weeds growing around it. Make sure bare ground is what you want under those fruit trees.
Okay. What about planting fruit trees? Can you plant fruit trees in the fall? would you advise?
The best time to plant fruit trees is late winter.
Late winter.
Late winter.
Okay.
I just don't think you'll get enough root development to get going into the winter. I've had the best success planting them in late winter, early spring. About pruning time is a really good time to plant fruit trees. You don't want to get too late. You know, you don't want to get over into May. But you want to, plant in early spring. Is the best for fruit trees.
So we have a lot of wind and things like that in the fall. You can prune out then, couldn't you? So
Well,
some of the limbs, break.
Any
or something.
dead branches,
Okay.
I said no pruning,
Okay.
but any dead branches that you have, go in and take those. Broken branches,
Broken, right.
you can take those off. Yeah, that's not a problem. But as far as doing the heading back and opening up the center and severe pruning, hold that off until early spring.
Okay. So you mentioned the dormant oil applications. Why are we using dormant oil?
Well, it controls scale and insect eggs and things like that. That overwintering the bark of the fruit tree. That and it's not only oil; it's a liquid lime sulfur for apple and pear trees and things like that. It's just kind of clean things up a little bit going into the spring. Because you do have critters that overwinter in the bark.
Yeah, that's for sure. All right, Mr. D. So anything else we need to know about protecting and preparing those fruit trees?
I guess
We go into winter.
That's pretty much it. Soil test, get the pH right, and clean up, sanitation, and then get your equipment ready for when the work starts.
Yeah, because the work is definitely going to start in the spring.
That's right. The
That's
work
for
starts
sure.
in the spring, or early spring, late winter.
Oh, okay. All right, early spring, late winter. All right, Mr. D. We appreciate that. Good stuff.
Good deal.
All right. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please click the subscribe button below.